Does practice make perfect? Well, actually, if merely being a sexpert were the greatest qualification for the woman we want, then a prostitute should be our most beloved woman. And in fact, she isn't, of course. Practice with anyone else is utterly irrelevant to what you'll do with your married partner. This union that you share is not better because you've had it with someone else. Let's say you have a Volkswagen, and this is your wheels, and you're happy with it, and you're putting around in this thing, and it gets you where you want to go, and this is all you need. And then your uncle dies, and he leaves you a brand new convertible Caddy, the works. So you tool around in this thing for about a year or so, and then some guy slams into you and totals it, and you're not about to buy it back. So you go back to driving your little Beetle. It's a little different now, you see. You did have a Caddy. What if in this situation you have an affair with a Caddy? And then you break up. And then you marry a Volks. You'll always know, won't you, that you're missing something. If you had never had intimate sexual experience with anyone but your married partner, if life for you has been an exploration and a building of just the two of you, intelligently, beautifully, and if in your total life you only reach 50% of the sexual potential that a couple is capable of, but this is all you know, life for you will be fulfilling and great. But if you know that there is something better in someone else's arms, it might not be as easy for you. Experience with someone else adds nothing to your embrace. This, for a woman, is a learned art. She learns it slowly, and she cannot learn it in the brief time that you'd spend in school. It takes years. A man comes ready, but a woman learns slowly, but oh so wonderfully and beautifully. And the treasure that we share in marriage is what we have created between the two of us, just us two, and it is ours. And this is some of the greatest unity that exists between us.
I'm gonna line 100 men up against the wall. I bet $100 I can bang them all. I banged about 98. I thought my back would break. I went around the corner, got an oyster stew. Came back, banged another 2. I'm gonna win that banging bet. I may bang the other 2 yet. Tomorrow night at the Darktown Struthers Ball, I wish I had strength. Tomorrow night, Darktown Struthers Ball. Belle Bob, she says dirty words in a cute way, and everybody digs her the most. Because she's about a booster. She makes flanken. Flanken with kasha vanishkas, with grits. Boston. Pardon me. I had a bunch of buttes from Boston here last night, real squares. One looked at me like this. I said, if I was Paul Revere, I never would have warned you bastards. That's a hell of an opener for a record, I'll tell you that. If you're going to be embarrassed, honey, you'll have to leave, because here you won't hear the Gettysburg Address, you know. I'm going to send this record to Tel Aviv. I wanted to know the words to Hava Nagila, but I couldn't find them until I listened to Harry Belafonte. I heard it in Israel. Yeah, I heard a great group called the Foreskins. You're so bashful, you don't like my show, so how come you got a ringside seat? All the ones that don't... I'll interpret for you, honey. I'll interpret. There's only 2 words you have to know anyway in the Yiddish language, and that's gelt and schmuck. Because if a man has no gelt, he is. He is. All the stories I tell you are stories that are told to me by stars, rabbis, reformed. If I embarrass you, please tell your friend. Kakamun. Means God bless you. Are you Italian? She's got a healthy pair of colognes there, right? Like the laziest waitress in the world, carrying the lumps of sugar inside here. Guy comes in for a cup of coffee. She says, sugar? He says, yes. So she gives him 2 lumps. She bends down. She says, cream? He says, you wouldn't dare. Plus, I have other stories that are a little risque. We had another one about an old man who lost all his money. 70 years old, he hasn't got a dime. Who does he blame? His wife. He said, if you were a good vike, you go out, you vike for me. She says, I should vike, I'm so old and bent. She said, what could I do? He says, you could be a whore. She says, I could be a whore. He says, you could try. She says, I'll try. She leaves the house 1 o'clock in the afternoon, comes back 1 o'clock the next morning, all stooped over, dirty, disheveled, cumbers the gate. He says, you made out? She says, certainly I made out. I made $24.10. He says, what's the 10 cents? She says, everybody gave me 10 cents. Cute story, right, boy?